Canadian traces origin of AIDS to starving First World War soldier who hunted chimpanzees.
Here's a summary of the article.
Cameroon was invaded by a combination of British, Belgian and French soldiers from 5 directions. The unknown Patient Zero was among 1,600 Belgian and French soldiers who travelled up the River Congo from Léopoldville, the capital of the Belgian colony, to Molandou, a remote outpost in Cameroon, The New York Post reported. The soldiers spent 3 or 4 months in Molandou before moving forward. When they were there, the main problem was not bullets from the enemy, but starvation, Pepin told the Daily Mail. The locals lived off cassava, other crops and bushmeat, but the soldiers were reliant on supplies sent from Léopoldville and Brazzaville that were sent up the River Congo and then carried up to 25 miles by foot by locals, the Daily Mail reported. It was hard to get enough supplies and many soldiers starved to death, forcing others to hunt for food. All of a sudden you have 1,600 soldiers with rifles and plenty of ammunition, so the level of hunting in that area went up dramatically over these few months. In 1916, he told the Daily Mail. My hypothesis is that one of the soldiers got infected while hunting in the forest. A chimpanzee was killed and when cutting the animal to bring it back, there was an injury which got infected with the virus. Eventually, the soldier, after the war, came back all the way to Léopoldville and probably started the very first train of transmission in Léopoldville itself.
This post received a score of 10,000, with an upvote ratio of 88%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
That settles it. War equals AIDS.
War. Ha. Good God, yeah, what is it good for? Absolutely AIDS.
Military aid.
The two sourced news sites are the Daily Mail and NY Post. The least trustworthy newspapers in both the UK and US.
I guess the Sun isn't worthy of being called a newspaper.
Definitely not. More like toilet paper.
In the words of Captain Blackadder, my favorite magazine. Soft, strong and thoroughly absorbent.
Kids these days will never understand learning about AIDS from a conservative history teacher claiming California homosexuals engaged in bestiality with gorillas to bring about the AIDS epidemic.
My first thought when I read the title was, well, I guess you get really desperate to have sex when you're starving, doesn't matter who. And then I reminded myself that I'm a complete idiot. Lol. It was crazy times back then, man.
It took decades to come to this and it may take decades to figure out where COVID-19 originated. I don't think people understand. They think if China cooperates, it will be over tomorrow. On another note, sex with monkey as AIDS origin was ridiculous. Eating infected monkeys or getting bitten by monkeys was more likely. At one point it was gay people had sex with monkeys, which was how they got AIDS. Decades later, we are still morons, going by how many ridiculous theories are floating around.
Stranger things have happened. That's staying blue.
I'm going in.
It's been 24 minutes. He's dead, Jim. The title is incorrect. The professor is making a guess that World War I soldiers introduced it from the jungle to Léopoldville. He has no evidence to support that. Further, he suspects that there were 500 cases in the 1950s in Léopoldville. Again a guess. It's a big and long jump in time from World War I to the 1950s. And to have a rather infectious disease take that long to spread to such small number of people. That seems unlikely.
I have to object to this. It's a big and long jump in time from World War I to the 1950s. And to have a rather infectious disease take that long to spread to such small number of people. That seems unlikely. The early spread of AIDS was very slow. Genetic studies have implied the crossover to humans occurred in the first half of the 20th century, and the historical record shows that early spreading was not quick. It takes until 1959 for the first confirmed case to occur, and it was not recognized as a pandemic until at least 1980, when it had managed to spread out to much of the world.
I'm finding it weird the article stresses that Professor Jacques Pepin's 2011 first edition makes this claim. Also weird that this is a 2021 story about a 2011 book. And yet in the last decade this claim has not been accepted as proof by the broad medical and scientific community, like maybe the book doesn't actually prove anything and may not be factual. Especially since the first recorded infected people with HIV/AIDS are in 1959, some 41 years after the end of the First World War.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.